Canon began delivering their VCM lenses in 2024, lenses with the same dimensions, weight, and optical capabilities, designed as video-first lenses, perfect for gimbal use, easily switched out without requiring the gimbal to be rebalanced. With the announcement of the RF 20, 24, 35, 50, and now the 85mm, there are only a few more lenses on Canon's VCM roadmap. Is Canon going to provide us with a 100mm, a 135mm, or wide at 28mm, 16mm, or even 12mm? Click subscribe as we get to the information. Your subscription means more to us than a surprise cameo does to Ryan Reynolds. Hi, I'm Simon, your friendly dynamic range lifeguard who scans the news and rumor sites so that you don't have to, saving you more time for shopping with your wife at IKEA, just to nail that $1 breakfast. This video is all about a story claiming we're getting 2 more Canon VCM lenses. Ooh, I can't wait. We've been told a few times in the last little while that Canon has plans for 2 more prime lenses for the VCM lineup. One source said that one of the new VCM lenses will not be an f1.4. That tells us something above 85mm. And I know what you're thinking. Why would a lens above 85mm have to be f2 or even slower if they wanted to keep, well, the prime the same size and weight as other VCM lenses? Well, creating a lens in the focal range of f1.4 would prove to be too big and heavy. It would not be, well, a VCM lens, and it would not be cheap. Cue the 85mm f1.2, close to f1.4 and definitely not cheap. It would not fit the VCM profile of keeping each lens the same size and weight. And that's important because the exact same size and weight allows us to rapidly change lenses without requiring the gimbal to be recalibrated or balanced. So that brings us to the crescendo of this video. What new VCM lenses could we see Canon release? What new focal primes could we see? The Canon RF 135mm f1.8 L series is $22.99, and that's when it's not on sale. It's a terrific lens, demanded by street photographers, giving more reach than the RF 100mm f2.8 macro. Turning that 135mm lens into a VCM lens is only possible if Canon reduces the aperture from f1.4 to, well, at least f2, maybe even f2.8. Doing so would give it the VCM stamp of approval, although not that f1.4. But Canon could also deliver a 100mm f2, 2 possibilities north of 85mm. But is there another Goldilocks zone for the VCM lineup? There's plenty of room between the 85 and 50mm. Canon could come out with a 70mm f1.4. Would this focal range interest you? Sigma found it interesting enough to make a prime, as did Pentax. Canon could also do a 40mm, but that's pretty close to the 35mm. But let's leave that one on the table for now because I think there is a much more probable lens that we could see. The next gap and most likely target for a new f1.4 VCM is between 35mm and 24mm. The 28mm is a popular prime. It's not too wide and it's not too tight. It can still be used for landscape, architecture work, or even filmmaking. Canon's unlikely to go below 16 or 12mm as the front lens element would blow the budget if they wanted to maintain the same quality, and it would not fit the VCM ethos. I like the VCM line. I only own the 50mm f1.4, but it's great. I actually prefer it to the 50mm f1.2. I do have eyes on all of them, from the 35mm all the way to the 20mm, but I've frozen purchases until I see what the fall announcements come our way. I'm also in the middle of doing my year end, and well, there's nothing like a buzzkill that comes with doing one's corporate taxes. If you're interested in any of these VCM lenses that Canon's released, they're all on sale, well, with the exception of the 85mm, which was just announced. But these sale prices might look a little familiar, as they're also the release prices of these lenses. And if you're interested in buying from B&H, Adorama, or Amazon, please consider using my links below. This channel is very much viewer supported. We don't believe in inserting 60-second sponsorship ads. We just find it really annoying. So thank you. Thank you for using my links in the past. It's very much appreciated. And don't just have a good day, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Well, I've enjoyed talking about 2 new VCM lenses that are coming out. Let's revisit the 50mm f1.4, a lens that I used extensively in winter low light. Stepping down to f11 to f14, it caught a soft fog that rolled in overnight. Colors hold true and details stay clean. With Canon Log 2, highlight detail in the bright snow is preserved, and once graded, overall contrast holds up. Forests are a torture test. Dim, contrasty, full of fine branches. The 50mm VCM keeps contrast intact and resists flare when the sky peeks through. Autofocus is quick, quiet, and confident on moving subjects. You might spot a touch of longitudinal chromatic aberration on high contrast twigs at f1.4 and subtle green magenta halo, but it tidies up right around f2. Rendering stays confident, neutral color, solid mid-tone separation, and enough bite that skin retains texture without turning brittle. But the blue hour is where the fast glass earns its keep. The 50mm VCM still locks focus reliably, and images retain structure instead of going muddy. Coatings handle oblique reflections off the ice very well, giving spectacular sparkle without washing out the blacks. In the cold, the focus drive stays quiet and responsive, which is all good news, especially if you're rolling audio nearby. Hand-holding at cautious shutter speeds is realistic. Stabilization will depend on your camera's IBIS, but the optics don't force ISO into the danger zone. At night, watch the highlight rendition. At f1.4, you get big creamy orbs with soft edges. By f2, the edges firm up, and the cat's eye effect at the frame edge calms down. By f2.2, contrast and edge acuity step up without killing the mood. And if you want that romantic look, live up between f1.4 and 1.8. But if you need precision, f2 to f2.2 is the absolute sweet spot. The bottom line, the 50mm f1.4 LVCM provides beautiful fall-off and neutral color, confident, quiet autofocus, strong low-light retention, and modest focus breathing for practical video work. Wrapped in an L-series build that doesn't flinch in winter. If you shoot people, documentary, or handheld video in miserable light, the RF 50mm f1.4 LVCM really does balance character with reliability. It's the prime eye pack when the job won't wait for the golden hour.